Welcome back, guys. So here we are in the brand new Life Barbells and BS studio.
Season 2.
Yeah, Life Barbells and BS 2.0, brought to you by Manny and Aline.
Yeah.
Guys, we have,
it's awesome.
yeah, this team has, and when I say team, Manny and Aline have just busted their rear ends to create just a world-class, state-of-the-art studio. Just absolutely amazing. So that hopefully
far beyond
will,
anything.
Yeah, I had no.
This goes far beyond my knowledge. So take it away, guys.
Yeah, and I think I hope it shows the people that are following us how committed we are to the podcast, to helping you grow as individuals, to help you on your fitness journey. Whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is something we're all in on and committed to. And, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And we could absolutely not even come close to doing this if it wasn't for people like Manny and Aline who have the technical expertise from graphic design to the videography, lighting, you name it. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So here we are at season 2, we're calling it. Where we're doing away with the old and in with the new, hopefully learning from some of the things, because it's like we were saying that doing a podcast for us is just like you guys going to the gym for the first time.
Yeah.
We make mistakes and it's painful and it hurts and sometimes it sounds ridiculous, and it's like you just learn as you go, and hopefully we get better as we go. But we're going to be doing things like bringing some guests on, which we'll have our first guest on August the 4th. And Claudia can tell you a little bit about Miss Monique.
Monique Jones.
Yep.
Yes. So I ran into her. God, it's been, 5 weeks now. I don't mean to be so literal in that, but it's been about 5 weeks. And I ran into her at a friend's competition. And amazing, amazing, amazing person. I loved her personality. I loved her energy, her humble nature. So Chris and I talked about bringing her on and kind of talking about a little bit of intricate details in bodybuilding. And she's been to the Olympia stage, for those of you that know how that's like the bodybuilding Olympics, basically. So she's been there, and I wanted to bring her on to also show that we're, despite our love of this sport, we're normal people. And she's a beast. There's no doubt about it. Just looking at her in person, she is a beast. But she had just this wonderful personality. And there's so few of us female bodybuilders, and she just came across as such a genuine person. So I really wanted to bring her on here. And she does, she is from the state of South Carolina. Well, she lives here in South Carolina. I don't know if she's from here, and she coaches a lot of people, and they absolutely adore her energy, her personality. And I thought you guys would really love seeing her here and
awesome.
Talking with her, or just hearing things that she has to say with her journey, where she started, because nobody starts at the top. You don't start at the top. We all start at the bottom, maybe grassroots, and kind of go there. But aside from that, and we're looking at August 4th, and I'm trying to just nail that down and confirm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, but our topic for today was growing. The statement that we hear a lot of is that growing old sucks.
Getting old sucks.
Getting old.
Yeah. Getting old sucks.
Getting old sucks. Yes. Yeah. I disagree. I think I think it's been a great journey, to be honest. There's been some ups and downs, but I look forward to maybe what's ahead.
Yeah, I think we were talking before before we started, we were talking about perspective, right? So, you've got two people, 50 years old, and they're looking ahead to the next 30, 40 years. And, one person sees it from a perspective of opportunity and new beginnings and what lies ahead and how much can I grow and learn, and maybe I take up a new hobby, whatever that is, whatever it is that interests you. And the other person looks at it as kind of doors start closing. I can't do the things I used to be able to do. My body won't function the way it used to function. I wake up and things start to ache and creak and pop. And so I kind of see it as a downhill journey. So it's the same number of years lie ahead, but it's two different perspectives based on two different mindsets. And so I think our goal was to maybe help, not only help change a perspective, but also talk about the thing that's important to us. And it's also not just important to us, but it's something that's trending. It's gone viral and it's in everybody's face, just the importance of resistance training, weight training, sustaining, building muscle as you get older, of how incredibly important that is. So it's one of those things, maybe even though you may not want to do it, we got to figure out how to get it done. If you want your quality of life to
either improve or at least sustain where you're at now through many 10, 20, 30 years from now, you have to prepare for that in a sense of movement. And, strength training, I think, is how vital it is. I know how vital it is, especially for women. So, and you have some clients that are of a certain age, and how much have they improved?
Oh, it's just
like what
dramatic.
Like what?
Well, you take one client who has had a significant cardiac event 9 months ago, who's also a cancer survivor. So survived cancer, kind of rehabilitated from that, then turns around and has a significant cardiac event to where literally he flatlined multiple times. Had to be placed in a medically induced coma for 3 days, finally stabilizes, and now is in a position to start all over again. Having lost tons of weight, strength is gone, muscles have atrophied, those kinds of things, and being able to start from square one with just a little bit of weight and each week increasing, and watching his body respond with, significant strength gains, but also muscle mass. So it all came back, and it all came back in the course of 6 to 9 months of just being very strategic, being safe, but being very consistent with the program. I have another client that's in his 70s who's he's been a baseball umpire for 40 years. So he's out in 100-degree weather. He's, doing double headers. When his body hurts, he's had, ankle surgeries and those kinds of things. And he just realized that, hey, if I want to keep doing this, I've got to start putting in the work in the gym to help keep my muscles strong, specifically legs, things like that. But we talked about before how, I guarantee you there's nobody that's listening to this right now who hasn't heard somebody who's gotten the call of grandpa fell and broke their hip. And typically we know it's they call it the kiss of death, right? It's the kiss of death. Once that happens, they usually deteriorate very quickly, and it's game over. And so it's understanding why that happens, that once you reach a certain age, let's go back to the basics. One of the basics is the average American diet is carbohydrate heavy.
Very. Yes.
So we consume more carbohydrates than we do anything else.
And
so,
sugar and
yeah. So we don't eat enough protein.
Right.
So because we don't get enough protein, we don't get enough nutrients to support muscle, either sustaining muscle or building muscle. So that's number one. Now we're getting older and our muscles start to atrophy. They start to get smaller. They get weaker, a little by little, year after year, until finally the muscles don't support our joints. Our joints are now unstable. Our knees, our ankles, our hips, our balance is affected.
Well, your bone density also.
Bone
goes
density,
down.
yeah,
Okay.
all that stuff. So women, osteoporosis,
Osteopenia,
Yeah.
osteoporosis. And I have a client now. She does strength train now. She was very heavy into just doing cardio exercises, and she also was diagnosed with osteopenia. In her 50s, so she's not old by any stretch, and had a mishap at her house that we've all had. A horrible mishap where you're kicking, I think it was the couch leg or the bed with your toe. Okay, well, she broke her toe.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months and it hasn't healed.
Yeah.
So this is why, and the best thing for her is strength training. So she has gone up in strength. And it's unfortunate, with osteopenia, you can't really go backwards, but you can definitely keep yourself where you're not going downhill. Okay. And so her healing time for her toe is going to be double or triple what it would be for somebody that does not
Right.
have that, disease. But outside of that, I mean, she's doing great. And I have, other clients that are in their 60s. And I have one in particular that, again, like your client, man should have been dead. It was a plane accident.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he coming back strong. I mean, he came to me and he said, he has so much control in his life. Okay. He's a business owner. He has a lot of control in his life. He said, I want to come to you. I don't want to think. Just tell me what to do. So, and he's a lot of fun to train because no matter what I throw at him, he does it. And he's, but I'll tell you what, I mean, it's incredible. I look at him and it amazes me every time. Like, I'm like, God, you're like this miracle person.
Right.
Because you shouldn't even be standing here, and you have everything. You're training and you're doing. Your strength is going up, and you're getting so much stronger. Your bones are getting stronger. Your health is improving, and I don't know. He never threw in the towel. Never once thought to throw in the towel. So, and it can be difficult, for people to even get started or to come into the gym.
It's intimidating.
It actually, I look around, I try to see it through the eyes of people that are new, because I haven't been new in the gym in so long. And I understand to a point how intimidating it can be. Just looking at some of the crowd there is there, and people that look like they're so experienced and know what they're doing, and you're walking in and you're brand new.
Right.
And
I can't, don't interrupt.
Yeah.
But I just thought about this, that a lot of people think in terms of hiring a personal trainer. They say, I can't afford that. And when we say all the time, personal training is a luxury.
Right. Yeah.
If it's something that you're doing long term. We both have clients that say, hey, I won't step foot in this gym unless I know I'm accountable to meet you
Right.
3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever the case may be. So we get that. That's a luxury that I couldn't afford. Right.
True. Yeah.
But looking at it from a different perspective, you're not hiring a personal trainer long term. But to help with that initial, I'm nervous, I don't know anything about this place, it's very intimidating, it's very loud, I'm overstimulated, there's all this equipment and I have no idea how to use it. Let's put it in perspective. If you're committed to saying, look, obviously there's enough information out there that says I need to weight train, learn how to do this so I can, increase my longevity in life, increase my quality of life long term, whether it be my grandchildren, me and my spouse being able to do things into our 70s and 80s and hopefully 90s and that kind of thing, that this is incredibly important. So let's say for eight sessions.
You're talking like a month?
Yeah.
You're talking just...
Let's just say over a course of a month,
okay.
if you go and hire a trainer,
Twice a week.
Twice a week for a month, chances are by the end of that month, you're comfortable with coming in the door. You're starting to meet people.
So scary.
Yeah, you're meeting people. You're getting friendly with people. It becomes, second nature to walk through the door. And now you're familiar with all the equipment. You know how to do the exercises properly with the proper form. And it costs you anywhere between $300 and $400, and you're off to the races.
Right.
That sounds like a pretty reasonable investment to me when we're talking about the quality of your life.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just sometimes it's about looking at things from a different perspective. I could never afford a personal trainer. Well, chances are you could afford a $400, a one-time shot to have somebody really walk you through the process and show you how to do everything properly.
And then especially like you said, like when you're coming in and when people knew somebody new was coming in and I see the look, it's like that deer in the headlights look. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because a lot of them that I've had that were brand new, never been in a gym at all.
Yeah.
And they'll tell me, God, this is so intimidating. I said, by next week, it won't be.
Right.
And sure enough, they have said the same thing. They're like, I can't believe I thought that this was so scary. Because the people there are also encouraging. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the other members, because they've been in that same spot where they were scared.
Yeah.
And coming in, and it was, some maybe had a personal trainer and helped them through the initial threshold of fear. And but they all have said this, every one of them have said the same thing. Male and female said the same thing. I cannot believe, because I've asked them, do you still find this place scary? And they're like, no, not at all.
It turns into a club. You go in.
You feel like you're. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
And then here's the thing, and I tell this to my clients. I'm like, look, my job is to give you wings. Mm-hmm. So when you are with me and I'm helping you and I'm teaching you different things about your nutrition and how to use the equipment and different exercises to do to strengthen your, maybe lose some body fat, gain muscle, whatever your goal is, because everybody's is different. So, and they're like, well, I can't afford this for a year.
Long term, right.
And I said, look, you do this for however long you need to. My job is to give you the confidence so that you can do this on your own. Mm-hmm. Because there's new people that need my help. I'm one person. You're one person. And there's only so much time. So there's new people that need us constantly.
Yeah.
And, that's what we're there for, is that to build that confidence. And like you said, there are some people that need us because they just need that accountability. Somebody's waiting on me.
Yeah.
Most are not like that.
Yeah.
So,
and you said something about weight loss, because this is the other thing that's kind of trending along with the weight training as we age is, and you see it, we see it 10, 20 times a day on social media now. And it's absolutely 100% true. It says stop focusing on losing weight and start focusing on building muscle.
Yes.
Because if you build muscle, guess what's going to happen? You're going to burn more body fat when you're in a resting state. All those things. It is the most beneficial thing you can do.
Absolutely.
100%.
It is what has been proven
Yeah.
to sustain, or I'm sorry, it's what has been proven to give you longevity in life.
Yes. All the way down to grip strength. They've done studies on grip strength that as you get older, you lose your grip. It affects every area of your life. So for those of you who are getting older, if you notice, you go to grab something and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that hurts a little bit. Yeah, okay. So that is even more important to train your grip.
Yes.
All those little things. But that's what we're here to do is to show you. So we're actually gonna, if I had an idea. I want to give everybody homework. I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
So we know that most people watch us. So we know that the gym, there's a lot of people in the gym who kind of tune in and watch our podcasts and stuff like that. So what if everybody that watches this, let's say they're in their 20s or 30s, but they have a mom, a dad, a grandmother, a grandfather. Okay. Go to them and say, hey, here's this podcast. Not expecting, you don't necessarily have to watch the podcast, but I really want to come to you and say, hey, this is really important. I'd really like for you to try this and you be the one to take them to the gym. Say, hey, grandpa, come to the gym and work out with me. Grandma, come to the gym and work out. Mom, dad, whatever the case may be. We're that serious about it. And it's that beneficial to the quality of their life.
I see a kid that comes in. He's probably about my son's age. So like upper teens, maybe early 20s. And he comes in with his mother and he trains her.
Oh, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
Blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've watched, now this has been going on for months. I've watched her progress. She is.
Oh, she's doing really good.
Going off the chain.
Mm-hmm.
And they are consistent.
Every day.
Every
4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah. Well, I don't see them Fridays because I'm not there as late as they come in. But Monday through Thursday, they're there. Yeah. And at least a good solid, hour and a half they're there. Boom. Yeah. I absolutely adore that. Yeah. I like that. That's, and I see a few other, there's, parent kid that I see come in. But it's more like the parent teaching the kid. Yeah. It's not the other way around. Yeah. So, but yeah, when I see like a teenager, 20-some helping their parents out, yeah, that's great.
That's a good point because this is the year that, our son Caleb, I told him that we would start training him in the gym. So think about that for a minute. So if you introduce your children to weight training at a young age, look at what you're giving them
for the future.
Yeah. Now they're already familiar with it. Now they know the benefits of it. That's a big deal. So, if you have any questions about that, you can also reach out to us as far as age and when it's appropriate, because there's a lot of misinformation about that. And
you mean young, too young?
Yeah, too young. Whatever.
Yeah. And there is, you have to be careful of certain things, strength training when they're, under a certain age. But for the most part, they can do lightweight. Have at it.
Yeah.
And introduce your kids to, and not in the unhealthy realm that it can go.
Yeah, you got to be careful about, not.
Go ahead.
Them taking it too. So, well, I've got to lose weight, and I've got to. Yeah, that's where you got to.
Where they wind up having a disorder.
Yeah.
Of some sort. But anyway, being strong.
Yeah, being strong.
That is, your son, your daughter. Teach them to be strong.
Absolutely.
So, and I love seeing Caleb coming in because he just looks so happy.
He's excited.
And, my son trains at a different gym. Not as often as I wish he would, but he does do it on his own. Yeah. But he does it, yeah. And But keep in mind, that's all he's known,
Yeah.
you know, since he was a baby. I mean, he was almost, Jaden was almost born in a gym, So that's all he's known. He doesn't take it to the level that I take it. And he has always said, he's like, Mom, that's your thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. That's fine. Our love of the sport is very different, but if he does a little bit, I'm happy with that, He keeps himself active outside of just working out. So he does keep himself active. So, but so so why don't you tell people how we got to this topic?
Oh,
you looked at me like,
yeah. Well, number one, I think we hear it all the time. It just becomes kind of that thing that you say, maybe I woke up with a little back pain today. I woke up with a little knee pain, whatever, getting old sucks. I get it. I understand that because things do start to ache when you get older.
Sure.
But one of the things that was a story, a guy came in the other day and he was talking about a guy who was in his 60s who had recently retired. Tell me if wealthy guy, recently
wealthy,
retired, loved horseback riding, went out horseback riding. For some reason, I was thinking that it was some type of competition, but I was wrong.
I think he was just
trail riding, whatever the case may be. He fell off the horse, had an injury, and ended up passing away from his injuries. So the comment that was made was, and you can remember the comment better than me because it's much more impactful when you say it the way you did it, because I'm getting it wrong. What did he say? He said,
okay, well, first, the guy it was 6 months after he retired.
Yeah.
That the guy had fallen off the horse and passed. And we were kind of looking at each other like, what's the moral of this story? Because I didn't see anything wrong with it, and you didn't see anything wrong with it. And we're looking at him, and we're looking at each other. And then he kind of said, what was he thinking?
Right, that was it.
And we still didn't understand the point. He said, when you hit a certain age, you can't do certain things in life. And he shouldn't have been on a horse at 65 years old. Right. And then you said to him, I'm sorry, but I'm on the side of the guy that passed away.
Yeah.
Because he was doing what he loved.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we've all been around those people who play it safe. We've all been around those people, oh, don't do that because it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. I recently, in the past year, bought a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. First time in my life. All right. So there were some people that kind of freaked out a little bit. Oh, that's really dangerous. I think one of the comments, you're going to kill yourself. Well, thanks for that. Yeah. But it's all about, as you get older, I want to experience new things, Mm-hmm. So you do dangerous things, but you do them in a safe way, right?
Yeah, because you probably don't ride.
Mm-hmm. I don't break the speed limit. I don't,
Like you're not going erratic like if you were 20.
No, I'm responsible.
Right.
But that's what, for those of you who know who Jordan Peterson is, that's one of the things that Jordan Peterson says about children, that parents need to allow their children to do dangerous things in a safe environment. Mm-hmm. So that one of the things, and look, disagree whatever you want to. When my older kids were smaller, one of the things they did, like the living room was a jungle gym. They were jumping off the couches and rolling. It was like a gymnastics studio and whatever. But typically somebody, probably the same person who told me that I was going to kill myself on the motorcycle, would say that they're going to fall and break their neck. Really? Let them be kids.
Right.
But going back to getting older, if I want to climb Mount Everest, if I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, if I want to run a 100-mile extreme endurance race, if I want to go ride dune buggies in the Mojave Desert, man, go for it. Live your life, ride your life till the wheels fall off.
In other words, don't let age stop you.
Yeah. If you want to jump out of a plane, jump out of a plane.
No, I have a fear of heights.
Yeah, so do I. But I mean, but if that's your thing, Because some people, it's their bucket list, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's not on mine, but
So imagine being 50 and not having a bucket list.
right.
Because I need to be safe because I don't want to do anything that's going to shorten my life. Well, what if your lack of taking chances and your lack of living is the very thing that's shortening your life?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Possibly. Because I'm not moving as much. I'm not getting as much activity. As much exercise. My adrenaline, all those things that keep you alive, you just kind of coast into the sunset.
And then you have what? Regrets?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and there are people who disagree. Look, you're entitled to think however you think, but we're both, at that age where we can look and say, hopefully we've got 30 or 40 more years left. And we want those years to be as productive and as exciting and fun and adventurous and still setting goals all the way up to the very end.
And look, you can't, people like we have talked about, you can't say, or you can't predict a bad thing happening. Yeah. God forbid you get a debilitating disease or a tree limb falls and hits you on the head and kills you. I mean, those things you can't, but you can't live your life thinking that that's always going to happen either.
How many times do you hear that a day?
What?
Somebody says something bad happens to somebody that's just random. Like you said, the tree falling on a car or whatever the case may be. Well, you never know when your time's up. Okay.
Right.
All right. So let's go with that for a second. If you never know when your time's up, then you can either hide away and, buy a house with no trees around it. You just protect yourself, wrap yourself in bubble wrap and ride this thing out. Or you can say, you never know when it's your time. So you know what? Until it's that time, I'm going to live my life to the fullest.
I agree.
And
yes.
I just can't. Yeah, I get it. Getting old hurts a little bit more.
It does. I mean, people say, "Oh, I have all these aches and pains and this and that," and I'm like, "Yeah, we all do. The older you get, you're going to have different aches and pains, of course, and especially, the more you move around, the more your body is being used to do different things. It's wear and tear. Mm-hmm. It's what it is. I mean, think about it. If I worried about every ache and pain, I wouldn't get out of bed. Yeah. So I don't want to be that way, but it's, and that's, if you're trying to also, if you have all those aches and pains, or you feel like your muscles are kind of, disintegrating in a sense, come on in, because we have helped people reverse that. And
there's a trainer who used that term the other day. They called it, she said that her mother was aging in reverse. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Aging in reverse.
Absolutely.
Because she's going from weak to strong, from large to small.
You can build muscle at any age.
Yeah, absolutely. Aging in reverse. I like it.
Yeah.
So we just, that the point of today, we really want to get this information out. It's really important to us, but we're kind of asking you to, share this information.
So that's their homework?
Yeah, homework, share it. Share the video. We'd appreciate it if you do that anyway.
Right?
That kind of helps us out a little bit, a couple of likes here and there. It always helps.
But there's no age limit to getting yourself healthy.
No.
There is, from 0 to 100 plus, there's no age limit on any kind of fitness, whether you're walking around the block every day, riding your bike, strength training. Strength training, I think, is kind of up there.
Right.
Because of and I'm not talking to the extreme.
No.
I'm not talking bodybuilding. I'm not talking about that at all. Take that off the table. I'm talking about just coming in, working with some of the machines, getting yourself a little bit stronger, because what a difference.
Right.
What a difference.
And I'm not, look, this just popped into my head. Okay. So we talked about strength training being up here.
Yes.
Okay. So strength training and getting stronger allows you to do all the other things like riding a bike. So if I'm getting strong in the gym, and I just thought about the video, you know, there's a video out there that we all saw in the last 2-3 years of somebody who getting old and feeble who fell off his bike. You know, the poor guy, you know, obviously he's not lifting, but you know, he just fell off. If he'd have been in the gym, then maybe he wouldn't have busted his rear end and the whole world wouldn't have had another reason to make fun of him. I feel for the guy. I mean, just look, he needs help.
Maybe
I'm just
missed
saying.
This video.
Well, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
We have to be careful. I don't want that kind of attention. I'm just saying. A lot of people know what I'm talking about right now.
Okay.
A very famous person falling off a bike. We're not going to.
Never mind. I
We're
know
not
who
going to
you're
show that
talking about.
video. Yeah. But just think, he needed a personal trainer. Is what he needed. He needed to be squatting and benching and deadlifting.
Never mind. I know who you're talking.
Weight training improves your cognitive function as well.
Oh boy.
I believe. Is there any statistics to back that up? Is that a fact? I don't.
We'll
think
look
so.
it up. We're gonna research that one.
I'm gonna. It's my truth, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. It is mental therapy.
Yeah.
And that has been stated by, I mean, I know that's true for me, but that has been stated by my clients as well.
Yeah.
You know, they come in like it's mental therapy. You know, especially while they're training, excuse me, and when they're finished.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you can move buildings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it's any kind of negative thoughts or any kind of, if they're having a bad day or whatever the case is, they don't leave having that same energy, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're going to wrap this up, guys. I hope this I hope this helped you. I hope it gave you a reason to kind of go out and share this with your family members, you know, friends, family members who you kind of see are reaching that age where this would help them. So, give us a like, give us a share, smash the like button.
yeah,
You know, all that stuff, and
all that stuff that they
hopefully
do.
we're going to take this thing to another level and grow and keep getting better as we go. So we appreciate all of you for following and liking and sharing, and
Shoot us some comments.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, and maybe any other ideas, you know, things that or stuff that you've seen, witnessed, or encountered, or if you have any questions about getting started. You know, if you're kind of intimidated or fearful or whatever the case is, you know, no matter where you live, whether you're in this area or wherever, and we can kind of give you tips on, you know,
We're here to help.
how to get you in and just give you that jump that you might need to get you started. So anything.
Good.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night.
Take
and,
care. We'll see you next time.
You bet.